פרק ו' משנה א'. החל בפרק זה ועד סוף הפרק, from the beginning of this chapter till the end of this chapter, actually no, until ועד סוף הפרק התשיעי, until the end of the 9th chapter, so we're going to deal with it in 3 chapters now, עוסקות המשניות בעירובי חצרות ושיתופי מבואות. Our Mishnah is going to talk about if you have want to make an Eruv in neighborhoods. You have a couple of houses that have they share a common place. How do they make an Eruv? And neighborhoods, all these courtyards, if they want to share a road, how do they share a road? That's the idea behind it. And remember, Eruv means food in one place. Not what we think today as Eruv is the lines that go around. No, when you say it's Eruv Chatzerot, how do you do? With food.
Food.
Yeah, we're not talking about...
Eruv Chatzerot של ה...
That's right.
שזה גם Eruv Chatzerot.
Yeah. ושיתופי מבואות. וכבר למדנו, we already learned, שאם אחד מדיירי החצר לא ישתתף בעירוב. So you have a couple of houses living in the neighborhood, and one doesn't want to give his common courtyard. He says, no, I'm not interested in sharing with you. I don't want to be part of this conglomeration, whatever it is. So what does happen? הרי הוא אוסר על כל הדיירים להוציא מבתיהם לחצר ולהכניס מהחצר לבתיהם. So just, even if you have 100 people, you know it happens a lot in, for example, it can happen in buildings. You have the whole building is a common area. I mean, the hall in the beginning. So you just need one guy to say, I'm not interested in giving you my common area, and that's it. No one can now carry in the building. They have to carry only in the houses. But what can he do? So they tell him, okay, you don't want to give your common area? That's fine. I don't want it, it's mine. What do you mean? I'm not giving it away. I'm not saying it belongs to the VAD. How do you call it? To the HOA. No, I'm not, I don't like HOAs. I don't give it to the HOA. ברם יכול אותו דייר לבטל רשותו לשאר הדיירים ואפילו בשבת. He can say, you know what, I'm willing to do. I'm not giving you the common area, but for Shabbat, I give it up. I'm saying, take it for Shabbat purposes, is like saying it. That is allowed to say.
בסדר, אבל אפשר שבוע הוא לא צריך, רק בשבת.
No, he doesn't care. He looks at it as the business.
Doing only in Shabbos, they say, in the middle of the week you don't need it. You need it only on Shabbos.
What do you mean? It's mine. What do you mean I don't need it? I don't want to give away my part of it. Yeah, of course he doesn't need it. But he doesn't want to give it even in the middle of the week. He says, I'm not going to give you my area ever. It's like the HOA over here. After Lachas. He says, I'm not going to make this neighborhood an HOA. I don't want anything to do with the HOA. But you know what I'm willing? I'm not going to be part of the HOA, but I'm willing on Shabbat to give it to you guys, to say I'm not part of this common area. I'm not part of this common area. Thinking about practically, how much can happen. It's really an HOA problem over here. So what happens then if he says, okay, I'm nullifying my place, ואז כולם מותרים לטלטל בחצר. Then he says he took himself out of the partnership, and now everybody is allowed to use this area. Okay. משנתנו בא ללמד, our Mishnah comes to teach, שאם אחד דיירים שבחצר הוא נוכרי. What happens if one of the people is a non-Jew? He's not Jewish. הרי הוא אוסר על הדיירים הישראלים להוציא מבתיהם לחצר ולהכניס מהחצר לבתיהם. The fact that he owns part of the common area, he now forbids on everybody to carry. So you need a whole building, 99 Jews, one person who's not Jewish. That's it. Now nobody can carry in that building. ואין מועיל בו לא עירוב ולא ביטול רשות. And in that such a circumstances, the Eruv that they're going to make is not going to do, and even Bitul Reshut, even if he comes and says, you know what, here, take it, not going to help. Ki'im, so what do you need in such, what do you have to do to such a case? צריך שהנוכרי יזכיר לישראלים רשותו שיש לו בחצר. They need to rent it out from him. Send it to us for Shabbat. List it to us every Shabbat from sunset to sunrise. We want to buy this area. That's the only way you can do it. Okay, that's what we're going to be dealing with. And we're going to understand why. What's the difference? It's a partnership. Who cares if he's a non-Jew, if he is a Jew?
Yeah, I was thinking if he's a Jew, you can exclude him because he's not connected to you. Have nothing to do to.
So we have to understand this whole situation.
The concept here is you have to be included somehow.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yep. Hadarim anochri b'chatzer, somebody who lives with a non-Jew in a courtyard, or it doesn't have to be a non-Jew. Imi she'eino modeh be'iruv, anybody who doesn't believe in the concept of Eruv. Somebody who says, this is nonsense, this is Moshe, the Torah never gave it. Some two rabbis came and decided, why I have to go with these two rabbis? I'm also a rabbi. I don't need to go with Eruv. It's an invention by the rabbis, I'm not interested in it. You know? You guys want to follow these rabbis, you go. I'm not interested in going. Also, it's such a guy, kegon, or who is not modeh be'iruv, kegon kuti, someone like a kuti. Now, a kuti was once, the kuti is after, I think today they're called the Shomronim. It's the same kuti. There was, for a while, for a small little while, they were accepted as Jews, and then they were not. You know, in other words, and why weren't they not? Because they didn't accept really and they worship idols. Besides that, okay. So any kuti that lives in the neighborhood, it talks about those times, or any non-Jew who lives in the neighborhood, harei ze oser alav. It prohibits an eruv with him. Ala Israeli, on any Jew who lives with him. להוציא מביתו לחצר ולהכניס ממנה לביתו. Now the common area is out of bounds. You're not allowed to take anything from the courtyard to your house or anything from the house to the courtyard. עד שיזכור ממנו את הרשות שיש לו בחצר. Until you come to the kuti or you come to the goy and you tell him, look, let me rent this Shabbos area from you on Shabbat. I'll pay you whatever, whatever it is. This is Divrei Rabbi Meir. This is according to the words of Rabbi Meir. Hasover, Rabbi Meir thinks, שאפילו ישראל אחד דר עם נוכרי בחצר, he thinks that even if one Jew, you share a house, you have a partnership with a goy, you both own the house. In other words, it's one and one Jew and one goy, הרי הנוכרי אוסר עליו. The נוכרי has the ability to take away all the area with him. So it comes very interestingly. You have a partner in whatever business you have, and he's not Jew, and you decide to buy a property, and you build your house, and he builds his house. So he says, that's it, you're done. Unless you rent it from him, there's no way for him to say, okay, you can use it. Even though, so he says, why? For him, it's not a problem. He can carry, no problem. Why can't I carry? What's the problem? Let's see. Yeah, but let's continue. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, Rabbi Eliezer, the son of Yaakov, says, Le'olam eino oser. He says, what are you talking about? What do you care? What's the problem? Yeah, why? Le'olam eino oser. Ein hanochri oser. It says the nochri is never going to be prohibited. Why? עד שיהיו שני ישראלים אוסרים זה על זה. Until there's going to be two Jews who are going to be prohibiting this one on this one. Now, what does that mean? בגמרא מבואר, in the Gemara it explains, שבין רבי מאיר ובין רבי אליעזר, that between Rabbi Meir and between Rabbi Eliezer, סוברים, they hold, שדירת הנוכרי אין שמה דירה. It says there's no such concept as a non-Jew having residence. We're talking about the land of Israel right now. What do you mean non-Jew having residence? It belongs to a tribe. It's the land of Israel. A non-Jew can't have residence over here. In other words, he doesn't have a hold.
He's a permanent resident.
He's like a green card.
Green card.
Yeah, he cannot own land. He can rent land. Yeah, but he cannot own land. There's no ownership of land for a non-Jew in Israel. Umin adin, so the idea is, אין הנוכרי אוסר את הטלטול על הישראלים הדרים עמו בחצר אחת. So, I don't care what the situation is. Since he doesn't ever own the land, he cannot make it prohibited to anybody. It's not his anyway. It's not his. It's mine.
You have to go to his landlord.
Yeah, and the landlord is a Jew. Yeah, and the landlord keeps Shabbos, and he's going to whatever it is. So what's happening over here? So it says it's a decree. The Chachamim made a decree. What's the decree? אלא שגזרו חכמים שהנוכרי יאסור עליהם עד שיזכיר להם רשותו. The sages decided, look guys, we're going to make a decree. And there's a purpose for the decree we're going to see soon. Until the non-Jew is going to give you reshut, we're going to make you not allowed to live in that neighborhood. Why? כדי למנוע על ידי כך את הישראלים מלדור עם נוכרי. It says, we're going to make your life miserable, so we're going to make sure, we're going to give you a hard time to live with a non-Jew because we're afraid שלא ילמדו ממעשיו. You're going to learn from his behavior. That's right, we're going to separate you guys. I mean, you can, technically you can, but we're going to make it difficult. We're going to make it difficult. And since it's going to become difficult, you're going to say, you know what, who needs this headache? Just move to a Jewish neighborhood and that's it. That's the idea. It's possible, but we're going to make it difficult on you. שהרי הנוכרי מן הסתם, because it says, what's the difficulty? Because it says, think about it, you're going to come to your neighbor, especially those times. Today it's not such a problem because they don't believe in it, but in the old times they believed in all kind of magic and voodoo, and especially those guys, idol worship. מן הסתם לא יסכים להזכיר רשותו לישראלי. He's not going to give his area to a Jew for Shabbos. He's going to say, hey, what are you doing to me? You doing some voodoo on me over there? What are you trying to do? You're trying to take my property away somehow? You're going to come with all kind of schmonzes? So they're going to say, 90% of them will not admit, will not want it, and then you won't believe it. Nobody would want to live in such a neighborhood, so people will not be living next to goyim. ונמצא אוסר עליהם את הטיטול בחצר. And you're going to find that he's going to prohibit it on them to move objects in the yard. So, but how come Rabbi Eliezer says, on one he disagrees. He says, no, you're allowed to do it with one. So Rabbi Eliezer holds it also this way. So why does he do it? וסובר רבי אליעזר בן יעקב שלא גזרו חכמים אלא בשני ישראלים. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, it says, when did he decree? The Chachamim made a decree. It's only when there's two Jews living with a non-Jew. On one Jew living with a non-Jew, they didn't make the decree. Why not? או יותר, it's two or more, הדרים הנוכרי בחצר אחת. שכן דבר זה מצוי הוא, because that thing, it can be found. That two or more Jews live with a non-Jew, it's found on many occasions. אבל בישראל אחד הדר עם נוכרי בחצר לא גזרו חכמים. But one and one Jew, one goy, they didn't make a decree. Why? Because even the Chachamim said no one's going to do such a thing. They didn't think somebody is going to dare to do such a thing. Why? שהואיל ונוכרי חשוד על שפיכת דמים. Because people were afraid to live one-on-one with a non-Jew. Because these guys are murderers, they were killers, they was not normal human beings. They were evil guys. אין זה מצוי שישראל אחד ידור עם נוכרי בחצר אחת. It didn't happen a lot. So they made a decree on something that happens, not on something that doesn't happen. וכבר אמרו חכמים, and the sages already said, שאסור לישראל להתייחד עם נוכרי. There's also another decree already. We already covered it. Where did they cover it? The sages says that one is not allowed to be together with a non-Jew. Just, living together or in the same area together. Why? Because it's dangerous. It's something which is dangerous.
Until today, it's not.
Today, the non-Jews are not dangerous, but even today, yeah, the idea is still the idea. If you're talking about, you're worried about רציחה, of killing today, maybe it's not so much, but learning from the ways still exists. Yeah. אבל רבי מאיר סובר, but רבי מאיר thinks, שהואיל ויש מקרים שאפילו ישראל אחד דרים נוכרי בחצר אחת, he says, look, there are circumstances that they are living one and one, אף בישראל אחד גזרו חכמים, even with one Jew, the sages made a decree, שאוסר עליו הנוכרי, that this נוכרי makes it prohibited on him. מהטעם שהבאנו לעיל, from the reason we brought above, שמתוך כך לא יכול לבוא ישראל לדור עם הנוכרי ולא עם מעשיו. So we don't want to ever leave them together so that the Jews are not going to be. Otherwise we're going to make their life miserable, harder, so that they're going to leave this neighborhood and go to a Jewish neighborhood. בתוספות מבואר, in תוספות it brought down, שעיקר גזירת חכמים, that the main part of the decree of the sages, הייתה משום הנוכרי שמא ילמד ממעשיו. The main part wasn't the killing part. It was that they didn't want them to mingle so that the Jew is going to learn from the actions of this idol worshipper. By the way, it's an interesting concept now in Israel, living with the Arabs. I don't know if it's the same thing because the Arab is not an idol worshipper. He's a Muslim. See, that over here it specifically says an idol worshipper. But it might be the same also. I'm not sure.
כתוב בנוכרי, עדיין נוכרי. Whether
Yeah.
the worship or Allah worship.
Yeah, but the reason is, I think, particularly the gzera, the decree was because of idol worship.
שלא ילמדו ממעשיהם.
Yeah, as for idol, I think memasem of idol worship. I think that was the main problem. Yeah. ולא משום אקוטי, שלא ילמד ממעשיו, ולא משום אקוטי. And it wasn't because of the kuti. The kuti was...
They didn't have a problem with him.
So much. Yeah, that's right. Because even though he didn't keep the Torah exactly the same and we kicked him out, he still was, maybe he wasn't considered to be an idol worshipper, I think. אלא, אגב הנוכרי אסרו גם בקוטי. Because of the נוכרי, they prohibited the kuti. They prohibited also on the kuti. So I think this is what gives the out for the Muslims today. I think the Muslims are like the kuti. They're in the idea. Yeah, I know, but in ideas today. וכשם שנחלקו רבי מאיר ורבי אליעזר בן יעקב בן נוכרי, just like Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Eliezer had a disagreement in a נוכרי, כך נחלקו גם בקוטי. They also had this disagreement in a קוטי, ויש סוברים שאף לגבי הקוטי גזרו חכמים שלא ילמד ממעשיו. And those who says, even by a kuti, that he doesn't worship idol worships, you still have to be careful. Like you said, you can learn bad things, other bad things. So,
don't forget that the Arabs, we don't really live with them in communities.
Today in Tel Aviv, I'm not so sure that you're right.
השמש שוחדים.
Yeah.
אני לא חשבתי על זה. בירושלים.
Yeah, in Yerushalayim, maybe not.
אני לא יודע מה הם עושים שם.
Yeah, I think places like Tel Aviv and in other places, I think you have it completely mixed today.
שמה שהערבים גרים בתל אביב?
Yeah, of course. Why the Arabs don't live in Tel Aviv? You think they don't buy houses over there? They have money. They buy houses just like you.
Yeah. Actually, Lord and Ramle.
And all these places, that's right.
זה הכל מעורבב עם ערבים.
Yeah. Yeah.